Hey, welcome back to the Cardsmiths. Today we have not only a new game, but this is a new a company that we haven't explored on the channel yet. That's Free League Publishing, and today we're going to be looking at Tales from the Loop, the Tales from the Loop starter set by them. So Tales from the Loop was a 2016 Kickstarter that released in 2017. This starter set released in April 2020, so within the past year.
Yeah, so Free League's actually started doing starter sets for a lot of their games, and I mean retroactively so. In the case of this one, they've actually announced the day that we filmed this that they're releasing a starter set for Symbaroum, one of their fantasy games. That'll be out in February this year, February 2021. I believe the first starter set they did was for their Alien game, and it's basically been confirmed by their main writer. I think he's the CEO of the company as well. In an interview, people had speculated about this. The starter sets contain like a lot of the smaller products, so it's like they contain the dice specific to the game. They usually contain like there's a map specific to the game. Sometimes they have like cards. A lot of their games have like initiative cards or like item cards. And before, these were all products that you had to buy like separately from your local game store. And this was a problem for the game stores in particular, because if they sold out of the main rule book, and for games like Alien, there was huge demand for it. But if they sold out of that, they would end up with like all the special like dice for the Alien game, or like the Alien like weapon cards, and like no one's gonna buy
Not
those.
the most usable thing, yeah, without the core rule.
And of course, those are always items that are gonna sell a little bit less, because like people may already have a lot of D6s, but they don't have the main rule book for the game. So basically, they started just combining all these products into starter sets. And then they would include, as is the case with all starter sets, they can include like a condensed rulebook. They include a scenario to play the game. And the Alien starter set, they included one bigger cinematic scenario that they already had released for that game. Just for time reasons, like it would have taken them time to write another one to put in that starter set that there was clearly demand for. But for all of their subsequent starter sets, they are writing new material for them. So even if you own all the Tales from the Loop books that came out before this, there's a new adventure in here for you. And it's an adventure you can use whether you're new to Tales from the Loop or whether you've been playing it for a long time.
Yeah, it's nice to give long-term players an incentive to go back and still purchase your starter set, I think.
Oh no, yeah, it's really well done. Because of course, if you love the game, for the price point, it's still worth picking it up, because you get you get a scenario, maybe you didn't buy the map for the game, and now you have a nice map, stuff like that. And speaking of the price, this retails at a very affordable price. It's the cheapest one of their starter sets. I think they've done that intentionally so. Like, this is a highly accessible game. Like, it's a theme a lot of people are going to like, and I'll touch on that in a sec. But you can pick it up for about 30 Canadian, 24 US dollars. Again, the publisher is Free League. And this particular game is inspired by the Tales from the Loop art book, which is an art book that Free League is a Swedish company, and I believe Simon Stellenhag is a Swedish artist. And in 2014, he made his Tales from the Loop art book. He's subsequently released sequels. A lot of his art features in the game. You can see it's kind of like 80s science fiction, like nostalgia. The kind of interaction between like children, machines, like urban landscapes, rural landscapes, machines. It's basically like science fiction in light science fiction for the most part in 1980s Sweden. A lot of people like shows like Stranger Things, and you're kind of getting that kind of feeling with this game, which is why I think they've priced it affordably. It's a game that a lot of people might want to check out, and you know, people who might be less interested in like D&D, like hack it up fantasy, might find this a more appealing setting.
Yeah, I could see this being a really refreshing change of setting for a lot of people. Even people who are maybe have been interested in like more traditional space sci-fi, like you said, a lighter sci-fi here. It's just a different, refreshing theme for people to experiment with.
Yeah, and I mean, the setting is very well acclaimed. The art book, for instance, The Guardian put it in its top 10 dystopias in terms of fiction works of all time. So it's up there with like Franz Kafka, stuff like that. So yeah, it's really nice art. And let's pop it open and show everyone exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, let's dive in.
So here you can see the box. You can see it's reasonably deep.
Let's have a look at the back.
Of course, this award refers to the core rulebook of the game, not the starter set, but you can see it as an award-winning setting. Let's pop it open.
Okay, sounds good. Really beautiful art on the front, as we already touched on. Here's what you get inside.
Start with the dice, I guess. As with all the Free League games, there's custom dice specifically with an aesthetic related to the game. And on some of them, the ones side is special, not in this game, but the 6 side is special on these die. It's upside down.
Pretty standard sized dice, I would say. They roll like about what you'd expect. I'd say a little bit smaller, actually.
They're pretty high quality dice, though.
Yeah, no, they're good.
Not much more to say about those.
Okay, on to the next thing.
This is the adventure. Of course, you would read this second of the 2 books that come in it, but let's flip through it. You can see it's nicely laid out, as generally all Free League products are. Nice color scheme. They always note the locations on the map so you can know where they are as the GM.
The maps are well done as well.
There's a handout, diagrams. You can see it's pretty short, actually. It's a 16-page adventure, and 2 of those are actually largely NPC profiles.
So next up is the rules booklet here.
Yeah, this book contains the bare bones of the setting and the rules system. And this is actually a pretty rules light game, so you're not losing a huge amount in here. I do believe you're losing how to create characters, though. So probably not going to be able to do a custom campaign with just this product. But it's enough to help you see if you want to pick up the main rulebook. And a lot of this is actually just word for word text copied from the main rulebook with edits made to remove excess information that you don't need to run what's included here.
So following those 2 booklets, there's the map here that we were talking about. And let's unfold it and have a look at that. It is double-sided.
So there's 2 default settings for the game. Sweden and the US, both in the 80s. Sweden is the main setting, and the US is kind of a second option. But here you can see it's quite a nice map. It's got the Malaran Islands there. It's got the towns on them. Very nice.
So here's the other side of the double-sided map.
Yeah, Boulder City. Here's the city specifically. There's the surrounds. You can see it's kind of at the intersection of Nevada, Arizona there on Lake Mead. It's a different setting. It's nice to have the flexibility.
Yeah, some nice variation there. Next up are the pre-made character profiles here.
Double-sided sheets. The first side is basically you can show your players that side and they can get an idea of what the character is. And then on the reverse side are the stats and like hidden information. Relationships, things like that.
It's not very reading intensive as well, so it's pretty easy for someone to like get their character sheet, read over the little description, and there's not like an overwhelming amount of details on the back either, so it's pretty easy to get started and get playing.
You can see so Maria is kid 1, Tim is kid 2. There's 5 pre-gens available, and they're labeled in that way basically to show you, you know, if you have 3 players, you're going to want to play with kids 1 through 3 because they're numbered in the kind of amount of connections and story ties that they have to the other characters. So kids 1 through 3 are the most connected, and then kid 4, Isabel, is Maria's sister, and Linda is Maria's friend. You can see as well they have 2 names. The name in brackets is their name if you're using the American setting.
Yeah, again, I like that they give you the option for that.
So there they all are.
And as you can see, that completes the contents of the box.
Yeah, you can see, just put the box down. You can see it's like a recycled cardboard going on. There's obviously minor imperfections in there related to that, but I'm totally fine with that. And it's a really sturdy box, so that's nice to have.
So there it is. You got to have a look at the Tales from the Loop starter set. If this was a product you were interested in and on the fence about, hopefully this helped you make a decision on whether you want to get it. Maybe this is a product that you've never heard of and it's new to you, and hopefully this was a clear look at what it comes with, a bit of discussion on the theme and whether you're interested in it.
Yeah, and while this video isn't a review, and we will do a review in the future, it's a product we've used. So yeah, just quickly as a player of Tales from the Loop, what did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. We played it as a family, and as a family experience, I think it fits that really well. It also fits like your game group too, I think. Like we talked about at the beginning of the video, I think there's like a universal appeal to the setting and theme of what's going on. I enjoyed the characters as well, the starter character sheets. They all were interesting. I liked their flavor and their story. I picked Frederick. I enjoyed playing him at first. Everyone else picked first, and I was left with Frederick's character. And I read his story, and I thought, you know what, this is really interesting. I'm happy to be playing this guy. So, yeah, I thought that in terms of each of the characters, they all felt unique too. I think they really well captured their different personalities and strengths and weaknesses, their aptitudes. The adventure itself, it wasn't completely like there was enough ambiguity there that I didn't kind of just feel like I knew the path, the trajectory that the adventure was going on. There were lots of questions and different areas to make some different choices, so I wouldn't say that it was a totally linear, straightforward line. I think there was a nice amount of ambiguity to what was going on and trying to figure out how to solve what was going on. And there's a big twist too, which isn't at all apparent at the beginning, and that was exciting. So I had a good time with this.
Yeah, in terms of someone running it, I do have some criticisms, which I'll cover in the review. So stay tuned for that. But on the whole, the product is excellent value. As you've seen, it comes with the really nice double-sided map. It comes with the really nice dice for the game. And those two items alone, like if you were buying them at retail individually, you would already basically be at that $30 Canadian price point. And on top of that, you're getting a pretty nice box to store stuff in. It's really sturdy, which is nice. We've seen other companies have struggled with that.
And I think that's actually something that's really worth mentioning here is like the quality of storage for a game or an RPG as well is significantly important.
Yeah, and then I mean even more importantly than the box, you're getting a fairly usable scenario. It's a scenario that is not recycled from one of their earlier, so it's an original scenario, and yeah, it's definitely gonna last people like probably a good 2-3 hours. So on top of everything else you're getting, I think this is really good value, and for $30, if this is a game you're even remotely curious about, if you have experience running other games, I think it's worth picking up.
Yeah, and giving a try and seeing if it's something that you're interested in exploring further.
Yeah, and if that's you, do stay tuned. We'll put a more specific review of the product and the scenario up at some point in the future.
Yeah, so if you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching, sticking with it. Let us know if you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more Tales from the Loop content, like the video, leave a comment down below. If you've played the starter set, what are your thoughts on it as well? Feel free to share that below. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, and then if you really liked what was going on in this video, what's going on in the channel in general, if you haven't already done so, we would love it if you subscribed. And to everyone who already has, thank you again for doing that.